Welcome back to Sorare Assist. Adam here, and I've got a lineup builder for you today for game week 259. I'm going to be picking my special limited team this week and also my underdog limited team. So make sure you stick around to see which players I've got available for this upcoming game week. If you like the video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. For the month of April, I'm giving away a Magnemed Ozdiev rare card, 30 of 100. This competition is being run on my Twitter page, @Sorare Assist. To enter, you need to subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter, @Sorare Assist, and retweet the pinned tweet on the Sorare Assist Twitter page. At the end of the month, I'll pick a random follower on Twitter who has carried out the entry criteria, and that person will win the Magnemed Ozdiev rare card. I'll announce the winner at the end of the month. On Twitter, so make sure you follow me on there. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and for more free Sorare content, please check out SorareAssist.com. You can also become a patron of Sorare Assist and become a member of this YouTube channel by clicking that join button below. And grab yourself a 300-page Ultimate Guide Sorare ebook. Links to all this good stuff is in the description below. If you're not signed up to Sorare yet, then sign up using the link below to get a free limited card and 13 common cards when you sign up. Okay, let's get straight stuck into this week's lineup builder then. As I say, I'm going to be concentrating on my specialist limited team and also my underdog limited team in this video. So do take quite a long time to pick these teams. There's quite a lot of things to look into, the fixtures, the form of the player and that sort of thing. So I'm going to start with the Specialist Limited League this week. So the criteria this week is that there's a minimum of 2 players with an average score of 45 or below in the last 15. Maximum 1 player with an average of 60 or above in the last 15, as that's the normal case for these. And also maximum 2 players allowed from the same team, and there won't be any captain to pick as well. I'll obviously be keeping in mind when I am selecting this team my players for the Underdog Limited team, which this week is scores below 50 in the last 15 for the full team in this lineup here. So let's start with the Specialist team then. So it looks like I've got 3 keepers available, all Asia keepers. Now I'm also obviously going to keep in mind that I may want to put an Asia team in as well, with me obviously having 3 available Asia keepers all having a fixture. Although more than likely I'm going to probably put one of these in my all-star team, one in the Underdog League and one in the Specialist League, as long as I have enough players, of course. So first of all, I just want to look at the fixture difficulty for these players. I'm going to do that by going on to Sorare data and looking at the odds here as well. I also want to take more notice of this opponent's score as well. Now obviously this is basically, it tells you there, look, average score of starting players of this position that played against this opponent over the last 10 games. High scores being better matchup. So basically this gives you a good idea of what players in this particular position are scoring against the opponent that's upcoming. So in Sejeno's case, he plays for Consadole Sapporo and he's playing Sagan Tasu. So most goalkeepers in the last 10 games have scored an average of 48 points. So that gives you a good idea of how good this player is going to score. Also, you need to take into account the odds percentage of winning. So this is the percentage chance of winning. So Consadole Sapporo have got 39% chance of winning this game. So looking at this just gives me a rough idea. So they're all pretty similar really. Obviously, Sung Ryong's got the most favourable fixture, but he's away, and the goalkeepers don't seem to score a lot against Jubilee or Wata, so it seems like they may be scoring quite a lot of goals. And obviously Kawasaki conceded 5 goals in the last game, I believe, so there is a slight risk. But it looks like I've got a choice between any of these players really. So what I'm going to actually do in this one, this is obviously the Specialist Limited, and you need 2 players with a score of 45 or below. So what I ideally want to do here is use a goalkeeper as one of the players under 45. So in this case I've only got Tani available, so that's going to make my selection easy here, and I'm going to go with Kosai Tani in the goalkeeper slot. In terms of defenders then, I've got a few options here. I've got Yoshida for the under 40 player. I've got quite a lot of options actually. I've also got Hatsushi and Ming Sang Ji as well, and also Kimoto. So I will look at their fixtures. Now I'm also trying to think about what player that I'd want to potentially use in my as my star player as well, of course. So Sorare is a possibility, but I don't know why he didn't play that last game. He's a possibility for my star player. Sane potentially, although he's not been playing fantastically recently. And also Jermin Q as well, although they've got quite a difficult fixture. And then we've got the extra slot available as well. So I think what I'm going to do first of all is just have a look at some of these odds for these players. And also the opponent matchup as well score. I'm going to look at that, take more note of that as well. Now Senesi looks to have quite a good game here at home to Slavia Praha. Now although it does say the score is 43, this is obviously going to be scores in the Europa League, I would think. I would think that Feyenoord should be able to beat them, and a much better team as highlighted by the odds. So I'm not really going to pay much attention to this opponent's score in this example. Because in the Europa League, Slavia Praha could have been playing potentially weaker sides in the last 10 games. We've got Feyenoord, we've got Fukumori with a decent fixture here. And a good score as well against Sagan Tsu generally. I've actually got 2 Fukumoris. But I do need to pay attention to the last 15, of course. So I'm going to actually concentrate on the last 15 players first of all, looking for that player with 45 or under, someone who's preferably got a favourable fixture. So I have got Ishida here. I've also got Nagato as well, actually, and it looks like they've got a good matchup against Hiroshima. So that could definitely be a choice, although Yoshida is at home in this game against Shonan Belmare. As you can see, there's quite a few variables to take into consideration here. So there's a couple of options there. I think it's potentially, for the under 45 player, I only need one more, don't forget, is either Yoshida or Nagato. And as per the Sorare website as well, it looks like Hatsushi also qualifies, although it doesn't say on here, it says 46 on there. As you can see on the Sorare actual site there, it's 45. So that's something to look out for when you are picking these lineups. So let's have a look at the midfield options then, in terms of the 45 or under. So we've got quite a few options here. Bitgaram, whether he's going to start the next game, I don't know. He did start the last match, but obviously it's still a slight risk there. I've got Hyun Byum, but I don't think he's got a very good fixture there. Sekin is an option potentially. Looks like the odds on favourite as well, but would I really want to use him over a potentially high scoring midfielder like Harakawa? Probably not. Jin Ho should hopefully be back as well for this one after his suspension. And have a look at the forwards as well. I don't want to be using a forward here, I think this is pretty obvious. Only Kato would probably be a consideration for the under 45 category, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to pick a forward as my under 45 player, to be honest. So in terms of defenders then, let's have a look. So I think it might be Nagato here. Now we did start the last game, and I think he got an assist. I think he got an assist or scored, potentially just an assist. But he is finding his form at Yokohama, and it does look like they've got a good, they're odds on favourite by the looks of it, and they're also, generally defenders score well against Sanfrecce Hiroshima. So he's an option, but Yoshida's at home here. Now he has played 80% of the games. I suppose there's a slight risk there. And he came on as a sub in the last game. Hatsushi, like I say, is an option as well, but he's only played, but they've not got the easiest fixture there. Nagato looks like the obvious option. Now hopefully we'll start this game. Let's just have a look at the other defenders that I've got. I've got Senesi, but that would be classed as my star player for this team. I've also got Fukumori away to Sagan Tsu. Looks like a good favourable fixture as well. Tough decision really, tough decision this. Senesi is tempting though, must admit, but then I'd have to think about who I'd use in my under 45 category, of course. There's no standout options in terms of midfielders. Potentially Sekini, but he's come on as a sub in the last game, so I don't know if he's going to start that. And forwards, Kato. We've got Kato here. Could be a risk. He has been starting most games though. He was out here, so I don't know if he was injured or suspended. Suresta Saka at home to Kashiwa Reysol, and 52 as well is the score generally for forwards. 45% chance of winning as well that game. So it could be Leroy Sano or Jinmin Q that I could put in there. Magoza as well. But I have to also bear in mind my Asian All-Star team as well. It's a tough call. I'm a little bit tempted to play the wildcard in Kato there as my as one of my forwards, and then because I'm just a bit unsure about Nagato starting this game. As you can see, he started here, but then it was a sub there. Started, sub, and then I don't know what happened here. It just started, but had a poor game by the looks of it. So he's a bit of a risk. Yoshida as well. He's come on as sub there. He was out there. He did start the previous games though, the Yoshida. I don't know if he's just come back from injury or something, but it was a consistent starter previously, wasn't he? So again, there's a bit of a risk there with him as well. But Nagato could potentially used in my... So I think I'm going to go with Senesi in defence and Kato in my midfield. So Senesi there, forward, Kato. And then I've got an extra slot in the midfield there. So I've still got a star player to put in here as well, don't forget. So my two under 45 players are now in. So I've got Tani and Kato. Now I've got midfielder and extra slot to pick now. So that's what we've got left. So we've got Sane. Again, he's been on poor form recently, so he must be due a good game. Harakawa looks like a good one actually. 45% chance of winning as well. As it looks like opponents score well against Kashiwa and Ray Sol as well. So Harakawa could be a good one here. Like I say, seen as a bit of a risk. Sinjin Ho should be back as well, so he's another possibility. Maybe even Magoza against Digo seem to be leaking goals at the moment. I've also got Fukumori as well, of course. And Nicolas de la Cruz as well as a potential. Ladiro started the last game. He only played 45 minutes though, still getting back to fitness, so I don't want to be playing him just yet until he plays 90 minutes. Bitgaram as well as a possibility. Now, de la Cruz has actually got a really easy fixture here away to Alanza's Lima. But I'm not 100% sure because it's such an easy fixture. River Plate and potentially rotate, and he might not play the full 90 minutes if he does start. So there's a slight risk with him. Gary Yaldi's got a fairly decent fixture, but he's come on as a sub in the last game. So potentially he might start this game if he come on as a sub in the last game. So he's an option. I think probably the safest option here is to go with Harakawa in my midfield slot as my star man. I think I'll use Sane, my All-Star Limited side. And extra slot, I am going to go with Jermin Q as an option. Let's just look at all the players here. Shinjin Ho as well is a really good option, potentially. I don't want to leave myself too short in the All-Star division, of course, for midfielders. I've got Fukumori as well, who's usually good. But I've got plenty of forwards, so I'm going to go with Jimin Q potentially, but they are at home to Ulsan Hyundai. It's not an easy game. Magoza looks to have a decent fixture. Away to Digo. And if Cecina's not playing that game, potentially, then that's going to really reduce the effectiveness of that team. So, tough decisions here. I could go with Jin Ho, but then I'm not going to have an all-star player in my all-star team. But then I'm going to have three potentially good forwards as well that I'm not going to be able to use all three in my all-star team. Can't use San in this team now because obviously he's got an L15 and 61. Harakawa is obviously the only star man I can have in this one. I am going to go with Joe Minkyu, I think. They're at home, so he should be able to hopefully bag a goal in that game against Ulsan Hyundai. So let's put him in there. And that is that team finalised. I think that looks fairly strong. And as you can see here, I've got Kato and Harakawa in the same team here. I didn't mean to do that. That's just happened by chance. So maybe that's a sign, because Kato is a little bit of a wild card in this one. Hopefully the other players can perform. Potentially Tani's going to be a weak scorer as well. But generally goalkeepers are anyway. Senesi's obviously got a decent game. Joe Min-kyu could get a goal in this game. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and confirm that team now. I'm glad that I've got a little bit of an attacking stack here as well. Didn't mean to do that, but I have. That's worked out pretty well there. And I'm going to go ahead and confirm that. Right, so now I'm going to move on to the underdog team. This one should pretty much pick itself, I would say. We've got Sujena or Sung Ryong. Now, bearing in mind that I've got Fukumori that I'm going to probably use in one of my lineups, I'm going to save Sujena for the all-star team. And I'm going to put in Sung Ryong Jung in the goalkeeper slot there. In terms of defenders then, So I've got the uncertainty again of Yoshida potentially starting that game, so I don't want to play any players that's potentially uncertain. So I've got Komoto, Sangji and also Hatsushi. Nagato again is potentially one that might not start, so I don't want to risk it at this point. Until I see him start playing regular football, I don't want to be really picking him at the moment. So I'm just going to look at the odds for these three players here. So we've got Sangji, 29% chance of winning against Jeonbuk, obviously good. He didn't play the last game though. Komoto looks like he'll have a decent fixture actually. It's FC Tokyo at home to Kobe. He is playing a lot of the games as well, and the scoring probability of defenders against that team also looks good. So I think I'm going to potentially go with him. Hatsushi is a good player, but they've got a fairly difficult fixture away to FC Tokyo. So I am going to go with Komoto here. So put him in there. I've actually just signed him this week for the purpose of potentially putting him in a lineup, and it looks like he's coming useful already. Midfielders then. No obvious choices here. Giraldi could be an option, but he did play as a sub in the last game, so it's not one that I'm definitely going to go with. And it's not an easy match either, this game here. They're not the favourites as well in that match, so it's probably one that I don't want to go with there. I'm just going to look at the odds for these other players. So midfielders then, let's have a look. Remember it's players below 50, so I'm going to filter it by the 50 or under. So Ladero's an option, but a hard fixture against New York. He only played 45 minutes in the last game. That would potentially suggest that he's still unfit, or he could potentially start this match. But it's an hard fixture anyway, so I don't think I'm going to be going with him. Garialdi, but he started the last game as a sub, so I don't want to risk that one. Biggaram is potentially an option. He did play nearly the full 90 minutes in that last game. Aguila as well, potentially, away to Daegu. Hume Byum didn't start the last match, he was out for some reason or other. Don't think Pochettino's going to get a look in. Asano has started quite a few games here. They've not got the easiest game though against Yokohama. Sakine might be an option, but he's actually come on as a sub in the last game, so I don't want to risk him. And Heuristic is not really starting. So I think I might actually go with Aguila here. The reason for that is because I know I've got Magoza as well, although I don't know if his last L15 isn't under 50 as well, so that's a problem. But another problem I've spotted here as well is that I've only actually got Kato who's potentially going to start, so I'm going to have to change my other side now, because I'm going to have to put Kato in this team, look. So I'm going to do that. That makes sense, so that I've got a team in there. In terms of this team then, the midfielder, they're all a bit riskier really, apart from Aguila and Bitgaram. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go with Bitgaram, because he had a good game and I don't see why he wouldn't start that match. And in terms of the extra slot, I'm going to go with Aguila. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. I'm actually going to put Kato as my captain as well. And yeah, go ahead and confirm that. Now as we know, I'm going to have to go back to my specialist team here, because now I need to find another extra player. So I can't put Sane in because I've obviously got Harakawa as the over 60 player there. So again, I'm looking for a player with under 40 score, under 45 or under. So Yoshida is again popping up, but as we know, it's not certain. He's not likely to start. Sano's got a difficult fixture, but he might start that game. So the only potential definite one here then is Hatsushi, who's going to start, but he's playing FC Tokyo, which is quite a difficult game. Unless I change this defender again. But no, there's no real standout options. So I think I'm just going to have to go with Hatsushi here in the final slot. It looks like it's the only real option I've got there. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go ahead and confirm that now. Fairly happy with that. So this team is looking fairly good as well, as long as Kato starts, and obviously as long as these two start as well. Do seem to be in and out of the team, but he played nearly the full 90 minutes. He played well, so I think Bitgaram should start. Aguila come off a little bit early in the last game, but he did have a decent game, so hopefully he's come off with this game in mind, and he hopefully start this game as well. So I'll go ahead and confirm that. Now I will move on to my limited all-star team. I'm just going to quickly pick that, so I think this is going to be a quick one. So it's a Jenner in goal, Fukumori in my defence. Midfield, I'm going to go with Sinjin Ho. I've actually saved him for this team. Forward, I'm going to go with Leroy Sané. And in the extra slot, I'm going to go with Magoza. This team looks fairly solid, and I'm going to go with Captain Jin Ho, because I think he's got the most favourable fixture. Very consistent scorer as well, and I'm going to go ahead and confirm that. So I'm not going to go on to my rare teams. I am going to pick them after this video, because these specialist league teams and the underdog teams do take quite a long time to pick these sides. There's quite a lot to consider. But with the two teams that I've selected, I'm pretty happy with that. Just go to my teams just to confirm who I've selected there. So in the Specialist Limited League, I've gone with Tani in goal, Hatsushi in defence with Senesi, and I've got Harakawa in midfield and Jin Min Kyu up front. Underdog League, I've got Jung Seung Rong in goal, Komoto in defence, got Bitgaram and Aguila in midfield, and I've gone for Kato as my risky captain. And in my limited team, I've got Sejeno in goal, Fukumori in defence. I've got a bit of a Sapporo stack there. Jinho is my captain in midfield with Magoza and Sané up front. They're all looking pretty solid. I'm pretty happy with them. So yeah, all looking pretty solid. Happy with them. Yeah, I hope you guys have got a full lineup to part this week as well in the mixed leagues if you are competing in those, and also in your rare and limited teams, etc. as well. So good luck for this game week. If you did like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and for more free Sorare content, please check out SorareAssist.com. Okay, thanks for watching. If you're not signed up to Sorare, use the link below to get a free limited card and 13 common cards. Okay, see you again soon.